Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Eliezer Melamed Shlita. Here we are, Yom Chamishi. Hope everyone is staying warm. It certainly is quite cold where we are located here in the northeastern United States. Quite a cold spell, but that's what you get for living here. And we continue to ask you to daven for Chaylei Tzvah Agana Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol P'tzui Yisrael. And we learn each day Nishmat Ser and Daniel Shimon ben Harav Daron V'Shel Shem Kam Damo. The next chapter, Kavanas Yisrael. B'shas Birchat Kohanim tzarich kol echad ve'echad misol la'amod mul hakohanim. So during duchening, that's a term we're just going to use. It's called duchening. But during the blessing of the Kohanim, every person in the audience, all the Yisraelim, non-Kohanim, they should stand opposite the Kohanim, v'chavein da'ato l'bracha, and they have to have in mind proper intention for the blessing. V'lo yabit b'kohanim o b'davar acher, you shouldn't gaze at the Kohanim or at anything else. Kadei shelo yasiach es da'ato me'habracha, so that we don't get distracted and disturbed from concentrating on the bracha. Tiknu chachamim, shekohen sheish begufo davar mishuna. So Chazal instituted that a kohen who has something on his body that's unusual or odd, she'alul legrum la'anashim lehizbonein bo la'asiach es datim min habracha lo yala lisas kapav. If it's something that would cause a distraction because people would just stare at this malformation or something like that, and it would disturb him from concentrating on the bracha, then he shouldn't duchen. Lochein. So nowadays, since the Kohanim have the custom of covering both their hands and their faces with the talis, so let's say any Kohen who has some sort of malformation on his hands or on his face, that maybe he has some sort of growth on his face, or let's say he has something wrong with his fingers, missing a finger, longer, shorter, whatever it might be, lo haya leduchen, he wouldn't duchen. Aval hayom, however, today, shekol hakohanim noagim lachasos es pnei v'dehem v'talis, now that they're all covered, the talis covers the hand and the face, mum shebepanim o biyadayim eina monei es hakohanim levarach, so then this type of mum would not preclude the kohen from being able to duchen, because it wouldn't cause a distraction since it is covered. Ach gam hayom, im yesh lekohen mum shenika beraglo, however, if let's say the kohen has some sort of mum that is quite obvious and it's on his feet, lo yalisas kapav, he shouldn't go to duchen shema hadavar yaseches das hashom, because people are looking down, not looking at the kohanim. If they will stare at his feet, it'll cause a distraction. He shouldn't duchen. V'imhu toshav kavua ba'osam makom, let's say a person is a regular resident in that instance, in that place, kach shamum shelo kvar lo misakrones anashim, so that people are used to it already. It doesn't disturb people any longer. Yachal hakohen balamum la'alas haduchen, then a person, a kohen can certainly go up to duchen, mishum shemin astam hadavar le'yaseches das hashomim, because this would not disturb and it wouldn't cause a distraction for the people who are listening. So I would imagine, again, I'm just going to interject here for a moment, that especially nowadays, when a person would just take an average walk down the beach in Tel Aviv or anywhere in Israel, you'll see people who are missing limbs, and certainly, obviously, because of the war, I'm sure there are Kohanim in that instance, so if people are used to someone who's missing a limb and it doesn't distract them any longer, then certainly wouldn't be an issue to duchen. I think it would be quite praiseworthy. Back to the text. Let's say somebody has a speech impediment or pronounces things differently. Somebody doesn't know how to say an aleph instead of an ayin. So the Teimanim say ayin, and let's say a person can't say it. Because this would distract those who are listening to the blessing. Let's say somebody speaks in a regular way, but they're not so medactic, they're not so clear with enunciating the ayin or ches the proper way. But since this is the way people speak, this would not cause a distraction. This is anybody's, you would call in Yiddish, somebody's sprach. The way that they pronounce things, whether you're an Ashkenazi, a Sephardi, Temani, since people are used to it, then this wouldn't preclude them from duchening. Only someone who really stammers or messes up the words in such a way that it would cause a distraction, that person shouldn't duchen. But the point is how careful we have to be, that the people listening have to concentrate on the blessing. So much so, the Chazal instituted that if the Kohanim could possibly cause a distraction and they wouldn't be able to listen and concentrate properly, that they shouldn't do it. Because the key here is the focus on the crowd and their attitude, as we'll see much of this going forward, but that's how important this bracha is. It's not just on the Kohanim, but it's also on the Kehillah. So for our Kehillah, we thank you so much for listening. Please continue davening for Chaylei Tzvah and Yisrael, for Yisrael. Nishmat Sarah Daniel Shimon Arav Daron V'Shel Yishem Kum Damo. Hope you have a great day. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you here next time.